Good morning, everybody. We are in strong hips, back, and core today. Strong hips, back, and core. So let us shut down those phones. And we want to shut all the things off. Sometimes I know that we have a tendency to keep the Facebook on or to keep the phone nearby. But really, this is your time, right? Like if you were at a studio, you would be shutting away the dog and the kids and the noise and really putting yourself in your practice, even to the point where you're building a little altar for yourself. You're doing your practice every day at the same time, at the same place. You have a little altar, you have all your props nearby so that your mind knows that when you come to sit in the seat here, you've got everything you need. Let's take a big slug here. I do prefer having water when you first start class, room temperature, but I'm not drinking water today, I have to be honest with you. Okay, let's go to it. So one of the things we talked about, I know not everybody's doing all the classes, but one of the things we've been talking about in our Monday class is we've talked about back bending and how back bending sometimes is a place where we can practice being vulnerable and keep our integrity, right? We do so much of our giving that sometimes we do it at our own peril. We give past the point of what we have, whether that means we're staying up too late, whether that means we're skipping meals and then we're, binging at night, whether that means that we're presenting things constantly to other people where they're not even asking us for these things, and then we feel resentful that they didn't receive it the way we intended. There is so much of that going on. And so I love the idea of back bends because you need to be vulnerable, but you can't do it at your own peril. So we talked about that on Monday. And then today I want to keep continuing on this idea of what is the wheel pose. Those of you who are coming on Friday will really dive into the full wheel, but we're going to be building towards it today and spending a little time on it. Okay. So let's sit up nice and tall here. Sit up nice and tall and gently closing your eyes. And the first thing that I'd love for you to do is just turn me out. I'm going to be babbling on here for a couple of minutes, but I want you to really be turning me down and turning yourself up. So I like to think of this as your inner journaling, okay? Where do you bend over backwards? Is there a place where you feel like you give past the point of safety for yourself or integrity for yourself? Where do you feel like you are giving more than you have? Do you feel like you're giving more than you have? In our work, in our parenting, in our friendships, in our service work, our community, in our spending. Where do you go out of balance? Take a minute here. Where are you giving more than you have? And where are you open to receiving? Where are you open to receiving? Is it a teaching, a class, a yoga class? Is it a supportive phone call from a girlfriend? A hug from a family member? A compliment? A literal gift? Where are you open to receiving? 1 minute, please. So we've talked so much about the idea that it is all balance. There's an up, there's a down, there's a happy, there's a sad, there's an in, there's an out. It's always about the opposites. And so what I'd like to play with today as we move through backbending is the idea that when I give you a gift, I receive your happiness at the gift. When you give me a gift, you are happy at the receipt of my receiving. So it's just a circle here. But when we are giving and giving and giving and blocking any kind of receiving, whether it be from our own giving to ourselves or from others, it just upsets the energy. We have to have the balance. We have to have someone giving something, someone receiving someone giving something, someone receiving something, so that we have this natural flow, which is a great way to look at the back bends. I can give and give and give an open front body, but I have to be receiving it in the spine, which is what we've talked about, forward fold and back bending working together. Okay. So I would love for you to take this next minute and a half or 2 minutes, settling in on your intention. Are you going to receive this practice? Are you shutting down? Are you really open to receiving the gifts for your physical body, for your spiritual body, your breath body, your mental body? Can you open yourself like a sponge and take in this gift? Take in this gift so that when you're finished, you then go out there and you serve other people, and there's no resentment because you took what you needed so that you have the gas, and then you can go give to others. Okay. So this next minute and a half is settling in on an intention. Why are you here today? What is it you're particularly wanting? And then I'm inviting you also, can you be open to receiving today? Rather than trying to fix the knee, or rather because you should do the yoga, can you receive the gifts that this practice, that this path of yoga offers you? Okay, we'll spend about 12 breaths settling in on this 1 or 2 word phrase that will help you stay anchored. Why are you here? How do you want to feel? When you feel ready, please bring your hands into prayer, thumbs against the heart. Repeat your mantra to yourself a few times. And then gently drop the chin to the chest, open the eyes, see your fingertips. Remember the promise that you're making to yourself, and then release the hands. I want to feel giddy. I've never had that intention, but I want to feel giddy. So who knows what's going to happen. Okay, we're going to use a blanket. And if you don't have your props nearby, please run and go get them. You're going to need them. Okay, so we have our Tadasana fold. We're going to we're going to fold it up to, actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to fold it like this. So here's our blanket, and then we're going to fold it over just once. So it's pretty flat. And we're going to take this blanket right at the bottom of the ribs. So the bottom edge of the blanket is at the bottom edge of the ribs. And then we're going to take our arms into goalposts. Some of you can feel confident extending the knees. Some of you, the lower back is not happy quite yet, so you might bend the knees and even perhaps lean them towards each other. So finding your way here now, notice that my arms are not on the blanket, and notice that my bottom ribs are on the blanket, so we have a little bit of support through that thoracic spine, which is where we want these back bends to be occurring. And now while we stay here, we're going to imagine that we have a little plug in the bottom of a boat, and we're unplugging it, and we're going to let all the contents of our back muscles release. So we like to think of this as draining. Drain yourself out. Start to create a Samavriti pattern, an equal inhale. Melt the back muscles, equal exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. If you feel like you need a pillow, you could take your hands underneath your head or grab a pillow. We're here for another minute. Most of us don't relax. You know, we're the gazelle that's being chased by the lion, and we make a call and we get away from it, but we don't take the pause to relax. And then we get chased by another stressor and then another stressor. So here today, we are just giddy that we get all this time to really nurture ourselves, receive all the gifts of this practice. If it feels really good to you and you feel like you're onto something, I want you to keep going. Some of us are wanting to go a little bit more. We can roll off and we can fold that pillow or blanket one more round here, so it's a little bit more intense. Again, it's at the bottom of the ribs. Maybe we're extending those legs out straight. Another minute here. I'm going to stop talking, and you're going to let yourself drain out. 2 more deep breaths. I love yoga. Just feels so good. All right, taking your knees to bend, we'll gently roll off. I mean, we really don't have to do anything besides that. That alone is worth the cost of admission. Just loving that pause, right? All right, come on into hands and knees. And as always, you are so special. You are so precious that if you needed a blanket under your knees, you're going to gift yourself with that. This is about you. All self-centered, all centered in self. Okay, so bring your knees on the blanket if you want to. And then we'll talk about these hands, right? We've got equal space between each and every finger, including the thumb. We're pressing 60% of our weight into the thumb side of the hand. We could lift our pinkies if we want to. We're going to take our hands a little bit wider than collarbone. So open those hands maybe a little bit wider than you typically do. And maybe you'll take and spiral those hands out a little bit if you want to. Finding your cat-cow here. Inhale, look up. And then exhale, reverse. So part of what makes back bending challenging are tight shoulders. So when we think about our back bends today, that's what we're thinking about is the upper back. Upper back. So finding that pacing. Some of you are going to keep the hands where they are, and in a moment going up to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Some of you working a little bit deeper are literally going to grab the mat, like really pinching the mat, and try to rip it apart as you take your legs to the sky. As we talked about on Monday, we can imagine that our upper arm bones are squeezing a block. Our upper arm bones are squeezing together. Another 3 breaths. Two. And gently come on down, come on down, come on down. How is that? Okay, second round. Grab a hold of the mat if that's what you're doing. Bringing your hands out a little bit if that's what you're doing. Finding whatever works for you. Curl those toes under and up you go. Imagine those upper arm bones are squeezing towards the ears. If you're feeling this mainly in the hamstrings, bend those knees. We're trying to release the upper back. Pulling that mat apart. There's so much blood coming into the head right now. We're getting a nice big bath for the brain. Squeeze those upper arm bones towards each other. Drop that big old heavy head. Receive this beautiful gift that you're giving yourself. One more deep breath. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And bringing your knees down. Keeping the hips right above the knees. Start to walk your puppy arms out. So this is like a down dog arm, but we're keeping the elbows up. So bringing your forehead to the floor. If it doesn't come, then you can always put it on a block. And then drag the tailbone one way and reach the fingers another way. You can feel this little bit of a back bend here in that upper back. Are you sagging? See if you can release the front ribs to the floor, but then pick them up. Release into like a saggy position and then pick them up. One more. And beautiful. Come on back up. Come on back up. Let's sit in broken toe pose for a moment just to check in. So we talked about every time I'm forward folding, I'm really looking for a back bend, right? I want to keep that neutral. And every time I'm back bending, I'm looking for that forward fold, right? I want to keep the discs in my back really balanced. So we want to be playing with that throughout this class. Okay, coming back into hands and knees. I want to show you something, so just watch here for a moment. Just watch and then you do. We're going to come into eye of the needle. We're thinking about the laterals again today because of the back bending. So once I come into my eye of the needle pose, watch here for a moment. I'm going to take my other arm up and over here. And instead of trying to drag my shoulder blade into the spine, I want to feel like I'm hollowing my armpit. Okay, so we're playing with this idea that instead of dragging that punching arm in, we're trying to hollow the armpit. Okay, so let's play with that. Hands and knees, reaching your right arm up, thread it through, maybe your head comes down, and then inhale back up. Exhale, taking it through, and then back up. Thread it through, and then back up. This time we're going to land it, thread it through. Now feel how your shoulder blade is moving away from your spine. You're getting some space there. Feel those fingertips touching the floor, those nails. And then take your other arm, if you want to, and put it above your head. Instead of keeping it here, we want to be checking in on what we're doing. Now hollow out that armpit. See if you can, from here, pull back. As you're doing this, you're relaxing, you're breathing. Look at your armpit giving you a little gift. When's the last time your armpit gave you a gift? Look at that. So instead of dragging the shoulder blade in, we're imagining that we're hollowing out that armpit. If you're wanting to work deeper, you could even extend your left leg and just really play. Hello, little armpit. The way I look at it is it feels like it gives me integrity, right? It feels like it's moving from the core when you move from this armpit. Beautiful. One more big breath. Good. And come on up. And pause. Receive. Feel that. That feels good, right? That one side. Let's switch sides. 4 times. Left arm, thread it through, feel that shoulder blade, bring it together, and then again, reaching it through, and then together, and then 3. And now we're going to take it through, bring your forehead down or your ear down, take your other arm up and over the head, and then again, playing with the idea that you're not just moving the shoulder blade here, you're hollowing out that armpit. Hollowing out that armpit. You could extend the back leg again. We got that right leg out and just play. Receive. Don't do it. Receive it. One more deep breath. So nice. And then gently come on up again. If you want to do broken toe, you can do the broken toe. If you want to do the Vajrasana, do Vajrasana. And yes, even broken toe is a gift. It's a gift. It's like a gift. It's like a mop or a vacuum cleaner. You need it, but you wish you could take a trip. 2 more big breaths. All right, let's come on out of this. Let's move our blanket out of our way. And now we're going to go back to a little bit of a review so everybody can get caught up. We're going to take our block lowest level and wide, right? Lowest level and wide. We're going to bring our elbows down here. We're going to bring our palms to touch the floor as well. Thumbs are pressing in. Now squeeze that block and then hollow out the armpits. So squeeze the block with the elbows and then float those armpits. Imagine that you got a little baseball that's floating up into the armpits, floating them up. Start to straighten those arms, pressing into that block. So we've got the block still between our hands. I'm sorry, between our upper arm bones, and we're hollowing out those armpits. Some of you will enjoy this. Some of you can take yourself into a push-up position and hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and pause, knees down. We're going to move the block out of the way, but we're going to use our imagination that it's still there. So the eyes of the elbows are looking at each other like that. Look here. See how we're doing that? And then the upper arms are squeezing together, and then we're hollowing out that armpit. Okay, here we go. Second round out of 3. Push-up position. Baseball goes in those armpits and holding. 10, 9. Are you letting the head hang? Keep it floating. 6, eyes at the elbows looking at each other. 4, 3, 2, and pause. Receive those gifts. Last round, do exactly what we just did, or going a little bit further with the belly work, a little core action. We're going to come back into a push-up position. We're going to squeeze the upper arm bones. This time we're going to drop the knees right above the floor, but not on it. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Receive that work. Hollow out those armpits. Drag those armpits out of the wrists. Hollow them out. Hollow them out. 3, 2, and gently walk your feet forward here into a standing forward fold. Standing forward fold. Both knees are bent if the hamstrings haven't quite woken up yet. And we're going to keep our knees bending and just walk the down dog arms over towards those left pinky toes. So you're really stretching out through that right rib cage. Tailbone is looking at the wall behind you. One more deep breath. And gently walk yourself back to center, to the other side. Same thing. You're reaching those down dog arms over to the right pinky toe. You're dragging your tailbone to the wall behind you, and you're hollowing out that armpit. Good. And come back to center. And slowly, 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 slowly come up. Okay. We've talked about this action lots, right? We've talked about this shoulder blade moving away. When we add the hollowing of the armpit in, it's the same thing as if we're in chair pose and we're doing it with all this work, but we're not centered in the core. So it's almost like a way of holding that integrity. So let's come into mountain pose. Mountain pose. Turning the palms out, walking your feet hip distance apart. We're going to reach the arms up, grabbing a hold of that right wrist, start to reach over here and plug in that armpit, hollow out that armpit. Those of you wanting to work deeper can cross that right leg over, and you're playing with this idea that you're hollowing out. We're going to start to get a little bit more intense, but we want to really feel the gifts here of the integrity. We're not just jutting it out. We're not just extending it. We are really keeping it plugged in, really keeping that hollowing core. One more deep breath, and then come on up, release, and switcheroo. Take the other arm up, hollow it out. I hope you can see that. Taking the other arm over here, crossing the left leg in front if you want to. And then as you're stretching, you're hollowing. So that's how we keep ourselves from overdoing it for others. We keep that own plug in. Reach, 3, hollow. And 2. And beautiful. Come on up and reset. So nice. All right. Yes, let's take blocks just in case you need them. I don't think you will, but just in case. All right, here we go. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Hollow out those arms. Hollow them out, finding a nice flat back. Exhale, bend your knees and shoot the right leg back. The right leg back, you're in a nice big lunge here. Inhale, squeeze those thighs together and float your body up. Breathe. So we're going to focus on just the lower body here. Imagine that left heel is pulling back. You're really keeping the hips looking forward. Pubic bone is looking forward. Open those arms into goalpost arms, holding them there. Now we're going to go into a big challenge here. And the idea is that you're going to keep it as a gift, right? We're not trying to do these poses. We're trying to receive the work. So look at your left leg. You've got the knee pointing forward. It's over the second, third toe. We're going to lean forward a little bit, and we're going to take that right leg up. Start to lift those elbows to the ceiling. How do you hollow out the armpits and hollow out the belly? 2. Beautiful. Bring that foot back down, finding your balance if it's off today. That's the gift. And release the arms. Still in the leg work. You can feel it turning on. Again, please open the arms. We're still on the same leg. We're going to give ourselves a big hug. Feel how you're hugging here. Feel how those shoulder blades are moving, but hollow out the arms. And start to loose the left arm on top, hugging, pinching with that right elbow. You're squeezing it in. Hollow out those armpits. Again, we're leaning forward. Bring your right leg over here for Garudasana. You have the block there if your balance is off. If you're working a little bit deeper, you could bring that leg up. Most of us can feel that outer hip on the left leg really working now. 3. Hollow out those armpits. Drag those elbows down to the floor, but the shoulders up. 2. Who's having fun? And beautiful. Come on up and release. Receive the gifts. So part of this work is to notice how you're showing up. Beautiful. Guess what? Guess what? Same leg. Same work. 2 times. Okay, so we've got the left leg forward, the right leg back. We're noticing the tilt of the pelvis. We're noticing the firing up. The leg is looking straight forward. We're going to open the arms. We're going to goalpost. Now, as we're goalposting, we're hugging in. We're hollowing out those arms. Virabhadrasana 3. Maybe you even want to do interlaced fingers behind the head if you want to. Either way, coming into that warrior 3. And if your balance is not so good today, it's fine to keep that back toes down. Start to lift the elbows towards the ceiling. Hollow out those arms. 3, 2, and gently come on down and release. Receive. All right, Garudasana again, same. We're going to give ourselves a hug, hollow out those arms, right, left arm on top, leaning forward here, dragging your other leg across. You got the block there to put the toes down, and maybe you'll hang forward. Drop your chin, drop the elbows, but really plug in those armpits. Eyes open, 3, 2, beautiful. Unwind your hands, your arms come on up, and walk the feet wide and forward fold. Taking hands to opposite legs if you want to. Taking yoga mudra if you want to. Taking down dog if you want to. Anything that will take you into a pause where you can receive the gifts that we just had. Okay, come on up. Probably going to have to do the other side. Here we go. Mountain pose again, please. We know we're going to do 2 rounds. We know that the knees and the feet are looking forward. Inhale, sweeping those arms up nice and wide. Exhale, step the left leg back and find that nice big lunge. The heel is up. Finding that neutral pelvis tilting back and feeling that opening on that left leg. Arms open nice and wide. Why did we do that? Do you feel what you're doing in that upper back? Goalpost the arms. Virabhadrasana 3. So we know we've got the outer heel dropping down on that right foot, big toe plugging in. Start to lift up those elbows, but hollow out those armpits. Lift the elbows to the ceiling, but also lift those armpits like a tennis ball or a baseball is tucking in there. 3. It's okay if the balance is off. It's not about balance. 2. And putting that leg back down into that lunge, heel up, release, smile. Okay, here we go. Big hug, right arm on top, using that left arm to pinch that out, hug in those armpits, and leaning forward here again, taking your left leg up, or balance. How do you allow the shoulders to be moving to the floor, but those armpits are the core and they're plugging in? Eyes are open to help you with balance. Beautiful. Come on up and step it back and pause. Are you doing more than you have? Are you giving these gifts to yourself but expecting this different reaction? Like, how are you showing up? Remember, the poses aren't the yoga. It's the mind study. It's the self-study that's the yoga. Okay, here we go. Second round. Find your lunge. Find that right heel pulling back, really firing up. Inhale, reaching the arms out nice and wide here. Goalpost those arms. Hollow out those armpits. Feel that action step. And Virabhadrasana 3. Reaching the elbows and wrists to the sky, but still hollowing out those armpits. Beautiful. When you're ready, stepping that foot down, keeping that lunge, and pause. Inhale, reach arms up, armpits are hugging. Right arm on top again. Leaning forward, Garudasana, tip it over. And feel those armpits hugging that tennis ball as you're forward folding. One more big, big breath. Beautiful. And exhale, releasing the arms, stepping both feet down. Get your blocks out of the way and downward dog. Anybody who wants to vinyasa here, help yourself. Otherwise, you could grab the sides of the mat again and really hollow out those armpits as you're pulling the mat apart. Roll those shoulders. Feel what's happening. 3. Armpits lifting. 2. And beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Bring your knees down. Vajrasana. Sit back on your ankles and just pause for a moment and receive. Okay, how are you? You're better than fine. How are you? Okay, so another big challenge, we're going to need a block and a strap. We're going to take our strap a little bit wider. So let's say 3/4 of your leg length from your hip to mid shin. Okay. We're going to take our block between our thighs and we're going to take the strap around our ankles. So however that is comfortable for you to get in there. I'm taking the block wide. Okay. And don't overthink it. If the block is causing you trouble, like mine's causing me trouble, just get it out of the way. It's what's most important is the strap and the idea that you're hugging a block. Mine keeps falling over. So if it's happening for you, just imagine that it's there. Okay. Shalambhasana. So we're going to take our hands down by our sides with our palms facing down, please. Heels are nice and wide. Toes are curling under. Toes are looking towards our head, and we're trying to pull our heels away. The strap is taut, meaning we're trying to bust open our legs, but imagine that we're squeezing that block between our inner thighs. Shalambhasana, inhale, lift the front ribs and lift the legs. Can you push the pubic bone against the ground as you are coiling up through the ribs? 3, 2, and release. Make a pillow with your head. No, make a pillow with your hands, not your head. That would be tricky. I'm going to take my strap and make it a little tighter. It was a little loose that time. If the props are driving you a little crazy, then they're not a gift. So take it away and just do it without, okay? Don't let the props bother you. Second round, now we're taking the arms straight out and we're going to goal post them. Our elbows are right outside of our shoulders and our wrists are right above the elbows. We have a 90-degree angle. Pushing the pubic bone down, scraping the inner belly, upper belly towards the heart. Lift the legs and lift those armpits. So we're taking the elbows to the ceiling, but we're still trying to hollow. Some of you might even take your hands behind the head. 5. Tennis balls under those armpits. 4. Heels are wide. 3. 2. And pause. Receive those gifts. We're going to use the strap again. Those of you who don't have the strap on, that's okay too. Bend the knees, and we're going to remove one of the legs. I'm going to remove the left leg. Maybe you're on the right leg, and I'm going to hold the strap here. Pressing my straight leg toes down. I'm going to pull that bent leg away, and I'm going to let myself come up here. So I'm peeling my front body. Now I've got all this expression in my front ribs, but I'm going to imagine that there's a pull from my heart down to the floor where there's a magnetic pull wanting me to come back down to the floor. So I'm trying to find the forward fold here at the same time as the back bend. 3. And 2. And release. Bring your other leg inside and switch. Grab a hold, same thing, anchor that pubic bone down, pull that leg back, lift the heart. See if you can extend those back ribs too. 5 big breaths. Keep anchoring that tailbone and that pubic bone. 3. One more deep breath. And gently release other cheek. Gently now roll over. We're going to keep the strap where it is. We're going to take our block with us, and we're going to come to our back here. Ankles around both strap around both ankles. And just pause for a moment. I'm going to interlace my fingers behind my head and just breathe. Just receive the work I've done. Let's just pop up into a little bit of a bridge action, up and down. Remember, we're focusing on squeezing around those sits bones. So instead of any gripping in the upper hips, we want to be just squeezing up and lowering down. 3 more. It's a beautiful massage for those shoulder blades. 2. Last one. And beautiful. Go on up here. So we have the toes and the knees looking forward. We're going to release the arms to the sides and grab a hold of that strap. Palms are facing up. Palms are facing up. Your feet are hip distance apart. Your knees are hip distance apart. The curve of your neck is lifted. And you're just bringing attention to these shoulders. Release those top ribs to the floor and extend those bottom 3. And 2. And gently, gently, gently coming down. And pause. You ready? You ready? Ready? All right, take the block as our last big boost here. Take the block. If you feel like you must go to wheel for today, go ahead and you can do wheel now. I'm not teaching it. We'll talk more about it in another class. This is just the prep. Those of you who are getting ready for wheel, we're going to go right back up to the bridge pose. We're going to squeeze the block around our arms, or we're going to put them between the elbows like we had it at the beginning. And that's the action here in our bridge. I'm sorry, in our wheel. So lifting the hips, squeezing that block between that lower arms, if that's what you can reach, or between those elbows, if that's what you can reach. Hug it in and then hollow out those armpits. So the armpits have little tennis balls in them. And you're squeezing those upper arm bones together. 3. And 2. And gently, 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 gently come down. Take the strap off your legs, and we're going to go into fish pose, which means we're going to use 2 blocks, and we're going to have both of them wide. One is in the place that the blanket was at the beginning, right at the bottom of the ribs, and one is underneath the head. Okay, so finding your way there now. Whatever height you want to be on that head pillow. Extend your legs out straight. Extend your arms out straight. You could even use your strap here, because we're doing all this hard work, but we want to make sure that we're keeping the gift for ourselves here. So here we are, we're reaching the arms and the legs away from each other. Those of you who are using the strap, you could imagine you're popping that strap open as you're hollowing out those armpits. Big boost here, 8 breaths. It's work here, we're not relaxing. Really hug those armpits, hollow them out. 4. 3. 2. And gently release. Relax the arms out to the side. Bend the knees. Walk the feet wide. Lean the knees together. And we're going to pause. Dropping. Stay here if you're enjoying it. Otherwise, lift your left arm and just do a little bit of reach over, and then pull that shoulder down again, hollowing out, reaching, and hollowing. Reaching, and hollowing. 2 more. Or just stay where you are if you don't want that. Other side, reaching, armpit hollows, reaching, armpit hollows, reach. Both armpits are hollowing here. 3, 4, last one, and beautiful. Arms out wide, or anything you want to do here. We've got another 8 breaths. You could windshield wiper your knees. You could do another bridge. You could yawn and stretch. This beautiful spine. When you feel ready, notice the breath body. Double check that you've got a nice, long, calm pattern. Your inhales and exhales are equal in length. If you're happy here for your Shavasana, go ahead and stay here. If you'd like to come down off of the props, come down off the props. And I'm going to recommend that you keep the strap around the shins. We've done a lot of back bends today, and so I want you to have a neutral spine. If there's something else you'd rather do instead, of course, you should honor yourself. But keeping the block or the strap around the shins is a nice position. Using your blanket as we did at the beginning if you feel like you want more, or using the pad underneath your head with a little bit of a roll for the neck. Something that you can have be completely neutral, where the skeleton, the spine, the hips, the pelvis, the shoulders, the legs, everything is really in its proper alignment so that it can receive the work. If there's anything else that you feel like you need to do in order for you to relax in this last pose, this last Shavasana, then make that happen. But just like we said at the intention, it's about receiving. It's not about doing. So can you receive? What do you need to do to open up? Starting to let ourselves find the stillness, perhaps. Bringing our index and thumb together for Yana Mudra. So turning the index, pointer finger, and the thumb together for Yana Mudra. Just sealing up your energy. Bring your mind's attention to the aliveness of your hands. Your hands are full of life. As are your arms. Can you feel the life force just flushing through you here, even in stillness? Into the shoulders and the front of the chest. Can you feel the life force, the zest of you, even in the stillness? around the middle section, our power. Breathing deeply into the back ribs, can you feel the aliveness that you are? You don't even have to do anything, you're so alive. You're so zesty, open, energized. Diving into the lower belly now, the pelvis, the lower back. Can you feel yourself rippling with aliveness there? Into the hips, into the groin and the genitals. Down into the quiver of the thighs and the knees. You're so alive. You're so awake. Down to the lower legs and ankles. Can you feel your feet? The big toe, the second toe, third toe, fourth toe, pinky toe, the bottom of the foot, the top of the foot. So awake, so alive. You don't have to do a thing. It just is. You just are. Perfect, just as you are right now. Starting to bring your mind's attention to the skull, to the scalp, to the muscles of your face. Just the heaviness. And just bringing your mind's attention to the area where the nose and the eyes and the ears meet, right in the center of your head. Your safe place. I always think of it as a hammock. Some people feel like it's an ocean front, your backyard, your grandma's house, where your eyes and your ears and your nose meet. Go there now with your mind, with your focus. A safe place to let yourself be here now. Now is the time for yoga. As always, may this be of benefit to you. Stay here and enjoy. Deep bows to you all. Thank you so much for keeping your light on. Namaste.